Over the past week, some crazy stuff's been happening surrounding Halloween Kills over on the Halloween Movies subreddit. Last weekend, someone using a throwaway account said that they actually had a script from Halloween Kills and that they were away from their computer, but they were happy to give it away to anyone who posted their email address down in the comments once they got back from wherever they were. It should be obvious that I'm totally fine with speculation from official materials like trailers and posts that end up on people's Instagrams, because that's what a lot of my videos are based on, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of tried and true leaks. A lot of the time, stuff changes by the time the movie actually comes out, and then the conversation basically turns into, well, I saw this in a leak or I saw that in a leak, instead of being excited for the actual movie that's coming out. And on top of that, trolls and love leaks because they go out of their way to spoil the movie for people who don't want things spoiled, and I don't really think that's fun. That's why when Halloween Kills was filming in South Carolina, the only things I ended up really making videos about were casting calls that alluded to things that ended up eventually leaking, or I would just wait till someone posted a picture on their Instagram like Ryan Turek or Nick Castle, or really anyone involved with the movie, because it just didn't feel right leaking things that were taken by people hawking the set, trying to get their camera up and take pictures of things they weren't supposed to take pictures of. But with this script leak, I could tell from the very start that it was probably going to be fake, so I private messaged the dude on Reddit, and weirdly enough, he immediately recognized me and told me he'd send me a script. Over the next few days, I made sure I had notifications on for the subreddit because I wanted to see if this guy was actually going to post any proof or evidence that he had an official script. I didn't have to wait too long or look too hard though, because he started posting a lot. Not only was he posting screenshots from the teaser saying they were the last frame of the movie, but he was also arguing with people who were calling him out and saying that this all looked a little fishy. The point here is that it seemed like he was loving the attention, and that's a major red flag. Ultimately though, instead of individually sending the script to everyone who asked for it, he decided he was just going to upload it to Google Drive and post the link to that on the subreddit, which, to be fair, he ended up doing. Actually, he did have a little trouble though, because the first script he uploaded, the mods thought was a virus, so then they took it down and he reposted it, but I guess that one was okay. Either way, I made sure to get my own copy of the script as quick as I could, and I got reading. And I'm just gonna be real with you guys here, I only had to read about half a page to know that this was a fake script. We'll get into specific details in a second, but the first thing that really tipped me off is that the overall writing level of this script is horrendous. It's honestly like a high school fan fiction story, and that's being pretty generous. I'm not the only person to feel this way though, because immediately people started calling this guy out, letting him know that yeah, this is very poorly written, and his only defense was that the script was an early draft and would probably change by the time we saw the movie. Now that this guy had his shovel, he decided to keep digging though, because once someone pointed out that Brad Miska from Bloody Disgusting tweeted about the script, saying it was hilariously bad and obviously fake, the guy said he was doing damage control. I took issue with that for a few reasons, the first one being that Brad has actually shared a lot of details from this movie before they were public knowledge on both Bloody Disgusting and on his Twitter account. And on top of that, Bloody Disgusting hasn't skipped a single rumor that Collider has reported on, like David Gordon Green coming back to write and direct, or the movies shooting back to back and releasing 1 year apart. So if a script for one of the biggest horror movies of 2020 were to leak online, why would a guy who makes his living talking about this stuff give two shits about doing damage control for a corporation? The answer is he wouldn't. Another thing I immediately noticed when reading the script is that the person who wrote it obviously took the trailer we got back in October, took each individual shot from it, built a scene around each one of those shots, and then connected the dots between each scene. He didn't even really change the order of which they show up in his script. It's kind of bizarre. I'm not going to go through every example because the script is over 100 pages long and we'd be here all day, but I picked out a few of my favorites. The script opens up immediately after the end of Halloween 2018 with a bunch of firefighters showing up at Laurie's house and rushing inside before prying open the bars to the basement with a Halligan tool and then promptly being murdered by Michael Myers. Before we get too into the plot though, there are actually 3 very simple grammatical errors on the first half of the first page of the script. The words firefighters, sirens, and police officers all have possessive apostrophes when they shouldn't have them at all. After that, Sheriff Barker doesn't make any mention of Michael Myers. He asks a police officer if they found Laurie Strode yet, as if she's the most pressing person to find in this situation, right? This scene is written as if he doesn't know Michael Myers has escaped, but we all know he does from the scene in Halloween 2018 where Hawkins tells him. Also, the very next scene picks up with Allison, Laurie, and Karen still in the back of the pickup truck riding down the dirt road, exactly where we left them at the end of Halloween 2018. 2018. So who exactly called the fire department? When exactly did they get out to Laurie's house? And how did they have enough time to go in and rescue Michael by accident in that short time frame? I don't think they did. Moving on though, they arrive at Haddonfield Memorial Hospital and Laurie is admitted by none other than Marion Chambers. Now that might happen in the final movie because it plausibly makes sense based on the costumes we've already seen Marion Chambers wearing, but either way, the line she delivers when this happens is so fake and corny that I can't believe it would ever be real. And of course, right after that, we get our next shot from the teaser, which is Karen sitting next to Laurie in a hospital bed, but we can only see Laurie in the reflection of the window. While all that's happening, Allison bumps into Sheriff Lee Brackett, who is now a security guard at Haddonfield Memorial, which we already knew from the shot of Charles Cyphers, which was released from set, where he's wearing a security guard's uniform. Oh, and of course, one of his first lines absolutely has to be that it's Halloween and everyone's entitled to one good scare, even though it's definitely November 1st in the timeline of this movie at this point, and David Gordon Green isn't a high schooler writing a fan film. It only takes a couple more pages before we encounter the next error when we're introduced to a character named Vanessa, who's a woman dressed up in a nurse's costume. The script tells us she's the mother of a character named Julian from Halloween 2018, which to be fair is something a lot of us assumed after seeing the teaser last Halloween, but in reality, it was debunked by Ryan Turek on Twitter very soon after the teaser came out, which I will always remember because I reported on it and said that I thought she was definitely Julian's mom after the tweet had already been sent out, and I just didn't read it. So I remember I got like 400 comments from people saying, no, actually, Ryan Turek already said that's not Julian's mom. And then we get more expert level writing when Julian says Vicky and Dave's dead instead of what any single human being on planet Earth who speaks English as a first language would say, which is Vicky and Dave are dead. The writer's next trick is to take a deleted scene that he's probably assuming a lot of people haven't seen yet from Halloween 2018 and then regurgitating it on the page. The one I'm referring to is when Cameron is arrested outside Haddonfield High School after he fights with Allison. Skipping ahead, the next chronological shot we have from the teaser that shows up in the exact right spot it should in the script is Lindsay being introduced into the movie by pushing a kid on a swing set. Thankfully, the script lets us know that in the 40 years since Halloween 1978, Lindsay Wallace in fact grew up and became an adult, and she looks great. That's really important to know. Commenting on how people look is definitely better than providing any detail or scene setting or really anything important to a movie's screenplay. There is one major new character though. Her name is Detective Minx, and she actually spends the entire screenplay driving around in a minivan with Vanessa, Julian, and Julian's dad looking for Michael Myers. And wouldn't you believe it, the minivan scene ends with Vanessa, who is still in her nurse costume, picking up a pistol and firing at Michael Myers. You know what? That's actually in the teaser as well. And speaking of the teaser, the next shot we have lifted directly from it is the beginning of the flashback, which shows Lonnie walking down the street holding a pumpkin candy bowl as he walks towards bushes where Michael Myers is hiding behind them, ready to jump out. There are so many other examples, but this is getting repetitive at this point, so I hope you guys realize by now that the script is in fact 100% fake. But just to put this to bed once and for all, here's what Ryan Turek responded when I asked him straight up whether or not the script is real. He's also answered a few people on Twitter asking if the script is fake, and some people think he's doing damage control by answering them and he might be lying, but I can promise you, if this was a real script, he would not be able to say anything at all to anyone who asked him whether or not it was real. And just in case I'm not being clear enough, even if he wanted to answer those people, he wouldn't be allowed to. But beyond that, beyond the fact that it's horribly written and hits every single shot we already have from the teaser, it's just not written in the same voice as David Gordon Green or Danny McBride. To prove what I mean, here's the description of the scene at the end of the one take in Halloween 2018 where Michael jams the knife through the back of the woman's neck. And here's a description of a scene from the fake Halloween Kills script where Michael terrorizes Marion on top of her car. Also, this one is taken directly from the teaser as well. I guess the silver lining here is that if you've kept up with my videos at all over the past year, the script hasn't spoiled anything you didn't already know. I don't know why anyone would put in the effort to write a script that's over 100 pages long just to trick people and try and ruin a movie for them, but my assumption, because the person already knew who I was, is that they thought me or Dave McCrae or Drum Dums or We Watched a Movie or even Bloody Disgusting would pick up the script, write down all the spoilers, and make videos about them while they could sit back with their 5 seconds of fame and laugh that they tricked us all. If you haven't read the script yet and you want a good laugh, I'll post a link to it down in the description so you can check it out for yourself. If you do decide to, or you already have checked out the script, let me know what your favorite scene or moment is down in the comments below. And before I go, I wanted to say thanks to the guy who stopped me on my way out of Disneyland last night to talk about Halloween. It means a lot that you watch my videos. I think your name was Robert. I'm sorry if I'm misremembering that, but it was really cool that you stopped me. Anyway guys, my name is Jimmy Champagne, and I'll see you in the next one. Shape on.